75 years ago, the United States was in the midst of the Great Depression. Life was hard for everyone at the time, especially for the folks in rural areas. While people in the cities had enjoyed electricity for over 50 years, in this part of Texas, more than 97% of the farms were still in the dark. As a result, the workday began long before dawn and lasted late into the night. There were no lights, no washing machines, no dishwashers, no vacuum cleaners, no refrigerators, no running water, none of the modern conveniences that we take for granted today. It's hard to imagine what life would be like without electricity, but you are about to meet some Houston County Electric Cooperative members who lived during those times. They witnessed history firsthand and took part in a revolution that changed rural America forever.
I had to study by the light of a kerosene lamp, but when you're used to it, it's not so hard, you know.
I never could see very good even from the beginning, but it was hard for me to do my lessons, but I did them. Just have to get real close to the lamp and close to the book.
Well, when I was a girl, my duty was to clean the coal oil lamps. We'd take the globe off, put it in a pan of water and soap and wash that. And sometimes you'd have to change the wick because it would get too low and it wouldn't burn right. It would smoke up the globe again and fill the bottom of it with oil. And that was one of my chores.
My chore was to get stove wood in. Go out there and split it and get it in. We was living in the country and it was pretty rough, but we got through with it.
And it was my job most of the time to bring it in and stack it by the stove for use. Cooking on a wood stove was really difficult.
Yeah, you had to have a little kindling to start the fire off. And
it did heat up the house in the summertime.
Put on a pot of beans and maybe a little salt bacon or something. Stay on that old cook stove all morning. They say it's the good old days, but I don't want to go back to them. It was hot. Yeah, it was real hot.
But we were used to it then.
Iron is not no picnic because, you know, the old iron is heavy to start with. It's just a big old thick cast iron. You had several of them, set them on top of the stove to get them hot. Probably couldn't do one pair of blue jeans with one iron. You probably had to switch irons before you get both legs ironed.
Well, we had no running water. On the water we had running to take a bucket and run with it.
But we were blessed to have a well, but it was a good piece from the house. And we had to go up there and get the water and bring it to the house.
wash day, we had a big old iron wash pot. They had built a fire around it. And all these kids now, she had a wash pot twice a week, 3 times.
And then you move it to a number 2 wash tub. And you had a scrub board, like you see in the movie, you know, the old wrinkled board that you scrub by.
After you would get through rubbing, we would try to use 3 tubs with the water, and then we would rub them through there, and then we started rinsing. We rinsed them in 2.
When we took a bath in the number 3 wash tub, we'd have to set it out in the sun and let it heat during the day, and then late in the evening you'd take your bath.
We already had some radios, but they was battery radios.
The one with the battery had a ground wire, they called it, run through the window out to a ground rod. And when the radio, it would fade out, you know, you couldn't hardly hear it, and somebody would go pour a dipper of water on the ground rod and that'd bring it back for a while.
We didn't have no indoor plumbing, and we went to the old outhouse.
You had to go outside probably 30 or 40 steps from the back door. You didn't have the soft toilet tissue. You had to see in Roebuck catalogs.
We'd save the slick papers, use it on Sunday. Yeah, and then for electricity, just about like seeing a rainbow in black and white.
It was apparent that change was needed. On May 11, 1935, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed Executive Order 7037, creating the Rural Electrification Administration, or REA. This set in motion a chain of events that led to electric cooperatives springing up all across the country.
Lights up, 1936, 26 REA systems, 7,500 farm families get light. 1937, lights up, there are 122 systems now, power and light for 43,000 farm families. Lights up for Mississippi and Ohio, lights up north, south, east, west. 1939, 548 systems, 435,000 families and other users, and many more soon to come on the lines.
On September 14, 1939, 9 civic-minded community leaders organized Houston County Electric Cooperative to bring electricity to this area of Texas. After chartering the cooperative, the hard work began. The co-op pioneers traveled the area trying to convince their neighbors to sign up. It took a public-spirited group of people to get the job done. The cost of membership was $5, which was a lot of money during that time.
Poor people like us, we had trouble coming up with $5.
Yes, they were very excited. It was a group would get together and try. I remember ladies would go around, was coming around to take the names, who would like to take the lights. And you know, that we lived a little distant in the community. But we'd walk around, everybody would get together and discuss it and say we would like to have the lights.
As the months passed, people waited anxiously for the power to arrive.
The beginning, you know, it was just manual strength and labor that you used to set the poles and string the wire, and it wasn't any equipment designed for that type work, really.
Well, everybody was just hoping for it to be a day that they could get theirs, and they were saying they comment.
On March 3, 1941, the co-op's first lines were energized, and 60 members' lives were changed forever. Those folks paid a minimum electric bill of $1 a month for 10 kilowatt hours. Through hard work and determination, the cooperative continued to grow. One house at a time, rural folks entered the modern world. For many, it was a day that they remembered forever. Having the power was a dream come true. Perhaps a Tennessee farmer said it best, "Brothers and sisters, I want to tell you this. The greatest thing on earth is to have the love of God in your heart, and the next greatest thing is to have electricity in your house."
One of the first things we got was an electric stove. And boy, my mom loved it. Taking a while to get used to it, but she learned how and she got used to it. Oh, a lot easier, yeah. Ooh, did it make her happy? I mean, it did.
My eyeball was about level with the tops of stoves, and of course I'm used to seeing you turn something on, flames shoot up. They said they turned it on, I slapped my hand across the burner and I got 4 ridges across my fingers. I mean, just instantly. I said, oh.
I remember my mother-in-law saying the best thing about the electricity was the running water.
Of course, we were very happy to get a refrigerator and could make our own ice, you know. Electricity, it made life a lot easier.
Of course, electricity made it a lot simpler. You had a lot more convenient things to work with, especially in the house. She got an iron and made it a lot simpler. All you had to do was plug it in and turn it on, and iron till she got tired.
One of the things would be a radio. That would make their life easier, but everybody wanted a radio.
We just get excited because we thought we'd have electric lights and things of that nature. And you'd just be glad to see it because we had experience of being in the town, but it wasn't in the rural area.
Well, it really made it easier on my mother. We got an old Wringer washing machine, and that's really what helped my mother, you know, for washing clothes and everything like that. An old Wringer washing machine she got.
She turned this arm sticking out with the rollers, and then she'd take each piece and feed it through that roller, and it'd come out on the other side.
Back then, the light company was called REA.
I'm just so happy with them and what they've done for me. But it was a wonderful thing. I mean, I was young, but I loved it, every bit of it.
From the beginning, Houston County Electric Cooperative has run its business based on being a nonprofit, member-owned organization committed to the communities we serve. We are proud of our history, bringing electricity to rural East Texas, and we will continue to build on that strong foundation in the future. Today, we serve almost 21,000 meters, over 4,500 miles of line. We leverage technology and innovation to provide the best possible service at the least possible cost. Simply put, power for your way of life. Our employees are a group of highly skilled, professionally trained people who bring experience, dedication, and knowledge to their jobs. They are the strength of your co-op, who are also your friends and neighbors. They are dedicated to the people they serve and the communities where they live. At the end of the day, when your lights are out, when you have a question about your bill, when you have a service request, when you have a dead tree on your property, or even when you have a complaint, rest assured you are getting the best of the best. Yes, we have come a long way from those first lines that were energized in 1941, but we have never forgotten the solemn trust the people of this area put in Houston County Electric Cooperative and the program called the REA. Our pledge to you is that we will continue to provide you with safe, reliable, affordable electricity in the future. 75 years from now, we trust people will look back and say that we kept our promise. Happy birthday, Houston County Electric Cooperative.